Never Give Up, Faith and Prayer. Greetings to all on the Bible Prayer Channel. Today, we will explore an important topic together: never give up, faith and prayer in every challenge. In this challenging era, where life presents difficulties that may make us want to give up, we will turn to the Bible to find encouragement and shape a positive mindset. In our daily lives, we sometimes feel helpless in the face of difficulties, major challenges that may tempt us to give up. I recall a lecture where a professor emphasized the importance of never giving up on our faith, especially in the toughest times. In those moments, faith and prayer can be the most powerful sources of motivation, helping us overcome every challenge. We see this clearly in the Bible, especially when we refer to the book of Psalms. In the verses, God is described as always present, ready to help us in every situation. One of the crucial lessons we learn from the Bible is to never give up on our faith and hope. A vivid example of the never give up spirit can be seen in the story of Job. Job faced numerous challenges, from loss to illness, but his faith and prayers kept him stable and strong. In his most desperate times, Job did not give up his faith in God. "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Job chapter 1 verse 21. Job's words are not just an acceptance of loss, but also an expression of absolute trust in God's will. This is evidence of the strength of faith and prayer in overcoming severe trials. When we face difficulties, prayer becomes a way for us to connect with God and draw strength from Him. In the Bible, we often find the prayers of devoted individuals who never gave up on their faith. We can learn from the prayers that God is compassionate and responsive. "Cry out to me in times of trouble. I will save you, and you will honor me." Psalm chapter 50 verse 15. This promise from God is a clear goal when we face challenging situations. Prayer is not just a way for us to talk to God, but also a way to recognize His presence and power in our lives. Difficult times are not when we abandon our faith. On the contrary, it's when we need faith more than ever. Let's look at the meaningful verses from the book of Psalms to understand how faith can be a guiding light in the darkest times. In times of hardship, those in exile, those who have suffered loss, found that faith is not an illusion but a living truth about the love and protection of God. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. Psalm chapter 9 verses 9 to 10. These prayers are not only expressions of faith, but also declarations of the presence and power of God in our lives. When facing difficulties, we can learn from the perseverance and faith of God's people in times of challenge. The Jewish people also went through particularly difficult times in their history. The loss of the temple and sovereignty forced them to face significant challenges. However, their faith in the God of heaven never faded. "O Jerusalem, I will once again build you, and you will be rebuilt. I will reset up the temple and make its pillars firm." Psalm chapter 3 verse 16. These prophecies are not just promises about the future, but also reminders of the power of faith in overcoming difficulties. The Jewish people continued to hold on to their faith, and that very faith carried them through their darkest times. Remember that faith is not a passive action but a source of encouragement, a motivation when facing difficult situations. In the darkest moments, faith is the guiding light, the hope when we feel lost and unsure. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5. This is advice from the Bible, a reminder of the power of faith when facing challenges. Never give up on your faith because it is the foundation, the motivation for you to navigate life's challenges. In conclusion, faith is never easy to hold on to in difficult times. But, as we learn from the book of Psalms and the history of the Jewish people, faith is an incomparable strength in overcoming all difficulties. Hold on tight to your faith, for it will be a source of motivation and light on the journey through life's challenges. Never give up on faith because God is always there, ready to help us on our path. Looking at examples from the Bible, we see that when faced with hardships, we should not falter. Instead, we are encouraged to rise in faith and hope. In the book of Job, a character we can learn from, Job never gave up his faith in God, even through prolonged loss and pain. Remember, when we rise, God will do something great in our lives. Job is a renowned figure in the Bible for his patience and unwavering faith. Going through significant challenges from God and Satan's testing, Job lost his wealth, health, and even the support of his family. Despite a life filled with tragedies, Job never gave up his faith in God. In fact, he said, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job chapter 1 verse 21. This statement reflects Job's courageous spirit and deep faith. Instead of blaming God or abandoning faith, he chose to embrace faith and honor God in every situation. This is a valuable lesson in building resilience in faith when life presents its toughest challenges. In moments of pain and despair, we can learn from Job's patience. Although life may pose challenging trials, faith and patience can be a source of motivation to overcome every difficulty. Job is not just an icon of faith, but also a model of how we can rise when facing the most painful challenges. God has promised restoration and blessings for those who stand firm in faith, just as the promise given to Job after the enormous trials he endured. This is a reminder that when we never give up on faith, God will do great things and bring about miracles in our lives. The Lord redeems life from the pit, and He crowns us with love and compassion. Job chapter 33 verse 28. Remember that when we stand strong in faith, God will make everything new and bring restoration to our lives. Never give up on faith, for it is the key to unlocking the wonderful promises that God has reserved for us. Stand up when facing difficulties, for God will do something great in your life. When feeling weak, remember that God will help us. As described in the Bible, God never forsakes us. Especially in the book of Psalms, we see that God is not only the God of heaven in desperate times but also our source of strength and support. The Book of Psalms is one of the Bible's books where we find promises of God's help in every situation. In the classic verses, God is portrayed as the helper and protector. These images are not just symbols but firm expressions of God's care and assistance to humans. The Lord is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. He knows those who trust in Him. Psalm chapter 46 verse 2. Such promises are significant encouragement when we face challenges and difficulties. God is not only the creator of heaven and earth, but also a caring and dedicated helper for humans, always ready to assist when needed the most. God's support is not just a promise in the Bible, but a personal experience for many believers. Those who have gone through difficult times, despite feeling weak, speak of the strength and care that God provides. God's presence is not a punishment, but an encouragement for us to stand up and continue moving forward. When we feel weak, surrounded by fear and despair, remember that God is ready to lend a helping hand. Do not hesitate to express your faith and seek support from God. Through prayer and unwavering faith, we can face any difficulty. In challenging times, look up to God, our helper. The Book of Psalms reminds us that God never abandons us and is the true source of strength when we are weak. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm chapter 46 verse 1. Trust that God will help us overcome every difficulty and bring peace to our souls. Do not give up on faith, for God is always ready to help, care for, and love us in every moment. Take a moment to pray, to call upon the support of God in difficult times. Prayer is not only opening our hearts to God, but also a way to seek guidance and strength from the Creator. In the Bible, we often find advice on prayer as an essential part of a faithful life. In difficult times, prayer is how we express our faith and trust in God. Acknowledge the Lord in all your ways, and He will direct your path. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 6. The book of Proverbs is a reminder that when we pray and acknowledge God, He will guide us on the right path. A life of prayer is not just about stating our desires. It is also a spiritual state, an approach to life with gratitude and faith in the power of God. This is reflected in the letters of St. Paul when he writes, "Pray without ceasing." 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17. A prayerful life is a continuous connection with God, seeking His will and allowing Him to guide us. Prayer is not just about making requests. It is also a way to build faith and hope. During prayer, we can place our trust in God and believe that He will work everything for our good. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. This is a reminder of the combination of prayer and gratitude, creating a soul full of trust. Remember that, in faith and hope, God will control our lives and make everything good. And whatever things you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. Matthew chapter 21 verse 22. This promise is an affirmation of the power of faith and prayer. When we trust firmly and pray with faith, God will make everything a reality. Finally, Remember that never giving up on faith and prayer holds great significance in building a meaningful and prosperous life. We are not alone on the journey of life. We walk with God and each other in every step. Wishing you all a day full of joy and support from God. Lastly, why don't we give up? Because of hope. Hope is the motivation that faith and prayer bring. Hope is the light in the darkness, the strength when we are weak. And if we are facing the career of life, the final question is whether we will rise and continue or choose to give up. That is the answer to our lives, and it is also the final invitation for you all. Grasp onto faith, pray in every challenge, and stand up when life knocks on the door. God will guide our steps, and hope will be the most steadfast encouragement on our journey. Let's continue this journey together, never giving up, for God is always with us. Wishing you all a day full of faith and light.